So, can we talk about how some of us, including myself, waste a lot of money online shopping by just simply not preparing? Let's talk about it.
You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad?
Okay, so first things first, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Kela Trishaan and I make videos on lifestyle, womanhood, mental health, and I'll throw in some vlogs here and there. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and thank you for your support. All right, so today I wanted to talk about online clothing shopping. I know I'm not the only one that has spent unnecessary money on things simply by not doing my research, not looking at the return policy, not looking at the type of materials that are used in the garment to see if it's even something that I would want, and not buying the proper sizes. So I ended up with a lot of clothing that either I could not return or I just never got around to returning it. So I either had to give it away or throw it out after it sat in my closet for years. And ain't nobody got time for that, okay? So I put together some tips that have helped me to minimize my monetary losses by shopping online. Just honestly, some simple preparing and figuring out what you want to get prior to making the purchase and pressing that button. So if this is an area that you struggle with and you need some tips, go on ahead and stay tuned. Okay, so my first tip for online shopping is to figure out what you need and why you're shopping before you go online and start looking. Now, the reason why I say this is because I think that we're all guilty of it at some point. Like, sometimes you just want some new shit, right? So you go online and you're almost letting the internet tell you what you need as opposed to really intentionally shopping and getting items that you could actually use and fit into your current wardrobe. So what I like to do is I'll take a look at my closet, and I had an issue a few years ago where I had like all the tops in the world. Like I, for whatever reason, just gravitated towards tops and blouses and t-shirts and all that stuff, but I barely had any bottoms, or I just had like very few. So I didn't really have much to choose from there. And that included like skirts, pants, all that stuff. I was very low on those items. So what I started to do is look in my closet before I go shopping to kind of see, okay, you know what? I have a lot of tops. I don't need to buy any more tops. I need to concentrate on pants. And then I would figure out what type of pants I wanted. Do I need more jeans? Do I need more work slacks? Do I want some casual joggers or whatever? And then that would help me to kind of narrow down what I'm looking for. So I'm going in with more intention. I'm not just looking aimlessly and buying things because, oh, this looks cute. Oh, I like the way this looks on the model, whatever. I'm getting things that I actually need and that I can actually fit into my current wardrobe. Also, even with the tops, sometimes I would go through the tops, and if there were certain things that like I was not wearing or things that I just didn't really grab for, then I might want to replace some of those tops. So you can look at that too. Like, do you need to replace items, or are you adding to your wardrobe? Like, what is your purpose? So be sure to take a look at what you already have to determine if there is a need to just add new items, or do you need to replace, or do you need to do both? Okay, so my second tip that kind of ties into the first one, after you kind of take inventory and figure out what exactly you need to add to your wardrobe, get inspiration so you can kind of narrow down, again, the pieces that you want to include in your wardrobe. Like, what is your style? Let's try to figure that out. I like to go on Pinterest. I'll look up spring 2021 women's outfits for curvy women or something like that. So I can kind of get ideas for different looks that I want to put together. And then I will pin those and I'll look in my closet to see like what do I already have that may create this look. Like, do I need to add to it, or do I need to replace what I already have? Again, I'll go on places like, or sites like YouTube, because a lot of content creators will create like fashion hauls depending on the time of the year. You'll see a lot of, like right now, you'll see a lot of spring and summer hauls, and fall and winter, you'll see a lot of those hauls. So I typically will look on there, and even Instagram, you can go on there and look at some of your favorite content creators and see what they're wearing and see if there is anything that you want to incorporate and make your own. So kind of have an idea like what your goal is basically, so you're not just, again, shopping aimlessly. So for example, I'm really into like wide leg pants with the paper bag waist. And so when I'm going on sites, I will sometimes just type in that, like I'll type in wide leg pants. So I'm not looking at all the pants and getting overwhelmed. I'm looking at specifically wide leg pants to see if there is anything that catches my eye or anything that I want to, go on ahead and add to my cart. Also, with looking at people on Pinterest and Instagram, take note of the places that they're shopping at, because if you don't know where to get these items, of course, they will let you know where they got their items from, and you can kind of start your search there. So yeah, get your inspiration and figure out what types of looks you're going for, so then you can narrow down your search and be more intentional with your shopping. Okay, so my third tip is to kind of have an idea of like 2 to 3 retailers that you trust. You know your sizes, you know their materials, and you've had successful, purchases from them in the past that you can go to whenever you need new clothing. So for me, I'll use Forever 21 as an example. I used to shop there like way back in the day. I started shopping there when I was a teenager, and I don't really buy too many things from them these days, but I know that if I do need to buy something from them, I can be comfortable with their sizing and with the types of materials that they use, because I've had plenty of successful purchases from there. So that's kind of like an example of a place where I've gone into the physical store and actually been able to shop, had a successful purchase, and I trust shopping from them online. Another retailer that I shop at pretty often these days is Fashion Nova. Now, I don't like all of their items, and I'm usually pretty strategic when I go on there for certain things, but I happen to like their jeans. Like, their jeans actually fit me pretty well. If I get the right type of jean, and I like their sweaters and bodysuits and stuff like that. So have yourself a few retailers where when you are going shopping, you know that if nothing else, if you can't find anything anywhere else, you could find something from those retailers, and you most likely will keep your items. Okay, so my fourth tip, and honestly, once I started really doing this has been a game changer for me, is to read the reviews religiously. I cannot stress this enough, especially if you're shopping from a new retailer, like somebody that you've never purchased from before. Look at the reviews on the items that you want. Sometimes you will see items that look amazing on the model, and it just might not look like that on you, right? And that's where you need to kind of know your sizing and stuff. But also, when you look at the reviews, you'll see like real people that have actually purchased this item that are giving you feedback on how it worked out for them. I typically will look at the overall rating first, and honestly, if it's like less than 4 out of 5 stars, then I'm probably just gonna pass on it. But even if it's like between 4 and 5, I still go into the actual reviews to see what people wrote. And what I'm looking for are trends. So, for example, sometimes you might see like a pair of jeans that look super cute on the model, but then you go and you look at the comments on that item, and it says that they're not true to size, or they're itchy. If you do get them, maybe you need to go up a size, or maybe you need to go down a size, things like that. So I look for trends, because even if there's like very few negative comments, sometimes that can let you know if there is something going on with that item that may be a deal breaker. I know for me, like I want to be comfortable in my clothes, right? So I don't get things that are too tight. I try to make sure, if anything, I have a little extra room just to account for washing and stuff like that. So if something says that it's not true to size, and that you need to go up a size or something like that, I'm paying attention to those comments, because I know if I get this item, if I get it too small, I'm either not going to be able to wear it, or I'm going to have to send it back or give it away, and that's a waste of my money. So if a bunch of people are saying that this item runs small, then I'm gonna make sure that I get a bigger size. Also, I've seen like comments on different items where it says, the material looks cheap, or the material is itchy, or whatever. And that's one thing I pay attention to as well, because I feel like the material can kind of make or break a look, because you can't, since you're not seeing it in person and you're seeing it online, sometimes what it looks like online is not what it's gonna look like when you get it. So you wanna pay attention to that. And sometimes on these sites, people will post photos of what it actually looks like in person, so you can get a better idea of what you're actually buying. So make sure that you are reading those reviews, and make sure that you're looking at the ratings, just to see like, am I making a wise purchase, or is this something that I'm most likely gonna have to return, or like I'm not gonna be able to use? Okay, so my fifth and final tip is to read the return policy thoroughly. One, you need to know if they even accept returns. Some places do not allow you to return items. They only allow maybe like a store credit or exchanges, things like that. Are you able to get your full money back? Like, is there a fee for you to return? Some places do offer like free returns because it is an online thing. And that was like a big deal breaker for a lot of people shopping online. Like, I'm not able to return it without a fee. But there are still some retailers that will charge you a fee to return. So you need to make sure that you know that and understand, because worst case scenario, if something does not fit or something isn't like the same in person that it was when you saw it online, whatever the case may be, if you need to send it back, you need to know what you're up against. So make sure that you are looking at those return policies, especially if this is a retailer that you've never shopped at before. Look at what they require to return and look at just the details of it. Look at the fine print and make sure that it's something that you're comfortable with before you buy those items, because at the end of the day, if you press that, that button to send and pay that money, once it's done, and you just don't want to be stuck with items that you don't like, and you don't want to be losing money when you don't have to. There are a lot of items where if this retailer does not offer a return policy that's acceptable to you, you can a lot of times find that same item somewhere else that has a better policy. So just make sure that you're looking at that before you shop, so you are well informed on like what to expect if there is an event where you need to return something. You know what? I actually have a bonus tip that I just thought about right now. So one thing I've been doing on these online sites, and especially sites that I don't know and I'm not comfortable with, is instead of using my debit card to like purchase these items, I will use my credit card. And the reason being is because if there is anything funny with the transaction, or something happens that is out of your control, like maybe you don't get the items and the company goes ghost or something like that, it's a little easier to get your money back with a credit card, because a lot of times they will look at it as fraud and they kind of refund that money like right away. And then also it's not touching your disposable income, if that makes sense. I'm very careful with that because obviously the debit card is connected to your checking account. So I'd much rather, if something funny is going on, for it to happen on my credit card where I can charge it back, or whatever, than put the charge on my debit card and then the money comes right out of my checking account. So yeah, bonus tip, if you're comfortable with the website, cool. But if there's anything sketchy, which really if there's anything sketchy, you shouldn't be shopping there anyway, but there are times where you want to give a retailer a chance. Maybe you heard good things in the past but you just don't quite feel that comfortable, I would use my credit card instead. All right, you guys, so that is all I have for today. So the biggest thing I just wanted to kind of convey in this video is just like, online shopping is the new way, to do things. Like, you can shop from the comfort of your home. You don't have to go into a actual retailer. You don't have to worry about parking or anything like that. You can do it from the comfort of your home or wherever you're at. But you just want to be smart about it, because you can end up losing more money doing it this way, because you just don't see the items. So a little bit of preparation and a little bit of thought can kind of help you, save you a lot of money and time, because even if you do get the items and even if you do decide to go and return them, I do feel like if you can minimize that, then it actually makes the process convenient the way it's supposed to be. So if you enjoyed this video, please go on ahead and give me a big fat thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you have not already subscribed, please go on ahead and click that subscribe button below, and be sure to turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. With that being said, you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you next time. You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your back, it's like I never knew you. Leader.